Welcome, everyone, to The Resilient Within. Today, we're diving into a topic that resonates deeply with anyone who has ever felt undervalued, dismissed, or disrespected. How do you handle people who don't respect you? It's a question that has plagued humanity for centuries. And yet, the answers lie in some of the oldest philosophies known to man, Stoicism. In this episode, we'll explore 7 powerful Stoic principles to help you navigate disrespect with grace, strength, and unshakable self-respect. These aren't just quick fixes, they're transformative tools that will help you reclaim your power and live life on your terms. But before we dive in, let me ask you this: have you ever found yourself in a situation where someone's disrespect left you feeling small, frustrated, or even questioning your worth? If so, you're not alone. Disrespect is a universal experience, but how we respond to it is what defines us. So, whether you're dealing with a passive-aggressive coworker, a dismissive family member, or someone who just seems to thrive on belittling others, this episode is for you. By the end, you'll have a toolkit of strategies to handle disrespect without losing your cool or your self-respect. Let's begin. Segment 1: Embrace the silent stare. Let's start with a technique that's as simple as it is powerful: the silent stare. Now, I know what you're thinking, really? Just staring at someone? But trust me, this isn't about being passive-aggressive. It's about reclaiming your power in the most subtle yet profound way. When someone disrespects you, they're often looking for a reaction. They want you to get flustered, to stammer, or to snap back. But when you respond with a calm, unbothered stare, you flip the script. Suddenly, the power dynamic shifts. Disrespectful people thrive on drama. They want to drag you into their chaos, to make you question yourself or feel small. But when you hold their gaze without saying a word, you're sending a clear message: I'm not playing this game. Consider Angela Merkel, the former German chancellor, renowned for her calm and composed demeanor. In high-stakes negotiations, Merkel often faced opposition and disrespect from world leaders. Instead of reacting emotionally, she mastered the art of silence and unflinching eye contact. This quiet confidence often left her adversaries unsettled, earning her respect and solidifying her position as a powerful leader. Let me share a story to illustrate this. I was once in a meeting where a colleague kept interrupting me, talking over me as if my ideas didn't matter. At first, I tried to interject politely, but it only made him more aggressive. So, I decided to try something different. I leaned back in my chair, crossed my arms, and just stared at him, calmly, unblinkingly. The room fell silent. Everyone turned to look at him, waiting to see how he'd react. And you know what? He stumbled over his words, looked away, and didn't interrupt me again for the rest of the meeting. That silent stare did more than any words could have. The next time someone disrespects you, try this: hold their gaze. Let the silence speak for itself. You'll be amazed at how empowering it feels. Segment 2: Embrace silence as your answer. Now, let's talk about another underrated tool in your arsenal: silence. When someone disrespects you, one of the most powerful responses is no response at all. I know this might sound counterintuitive. Silence can feel passive, almost like you're letting them get away with it. But here's the truth: silence is far from passive. It's a choice, a bold, deliberate choice to withhold your energy from someone who doesn't deserve it. Disrespectful people are often looking for a reaction. They want to pull you into their drama, to make you feel small or defensive. But when you don't engage, when you let their words hang in the air, you force them to sit with their own behavior. And that silence, it's deafening. Take the example of Tim Cook, CEO of Apple. Known for his calm and measured demeanor, Cook often faces public criticism about company decisions. Instead of responding impulsively or defensively, he frequently chooses silence, allowing results to speak for themselves. This tactic not only preserves his energy but also reinforces the company's image as focused and unbothered by external noise. Let me give you an example. I once had a colleague who loved to make snide comments disguised as jokes. One day, he made a particularly cutting remark about my work. Normally, I would have tried to explain myself or fired back with a sarcastic comment. But this time, I just looked at him, raised an eyebrow, and said nothing. The silence was palpable. He stumbled over his words, mumbled something, and quickly changed the subject. And you know what? He never made another comment like that again. Mahatma Gandhi's approach to British colonial rule is another powerful illustration of silence as resistance. Through nonviolent protest, Gandhi demonstrated that silence and inaction in the face of oppression could be more disruptive than any act of aggression. His ability to remain calm and composed, even under immense pressure, showcased the strength of restraint. This technique aligns perfectly with Stoic philosophy. Epictetus advised, "We cannot choose our external circumstances, but we can always choose how we respond to them." By staying silent, you're asserting control over your emotions and refusing to let others dictate your behavior. So, the next time someone disrespects you, try this: pause. Take a deep breath. Look them in the eye and say nothing. Let your silence speak for itself. You might be surprised at how uncomfortable they get, and how freeing it feels for you. In today's digital age, silence can also be a powerful response to online negativity. Consider celebrities like Taylor Swift, who often refrains from engaging with social media trolls. Instead of amplifying the negativity, she channels her energy into her art, letting her success and resilience do the talking. Over the next week, practice using silence in small moments of conflict or disrespect. Whether it's at work, at home, or online. Observe how others react to your restraint and how it impacts your inner peace. Silence, when used intentionally, is not a retreat, it's a statement of power and self-respect. Segment 3, Stop explaining your choices. Let's move on to a principle that's going to hit home for a lot of us: stop explaining your choices. How many times have you made a decision for yourself, only for someone to immediately start questioning you? Why did you do that? Why didn't you go to that event? Why did you take that job? You don't owe anyone an explanation for how you live your life. Your choices are your own, and they're valid simply because you've made them. Let me share a personal story. When I decided to switch careers, I was met with a barrage of questions and skepticism. Why would you leave a stable job? How are you going to make it work? At first, I tried to explain myself, to justify my decision. But no matter what I said, it never felt like enough. Then, one day, I decided to try something different. When someone asked, "Why did you leave that job?" I simply replied, "Because I wanted to." No explanations. No justifications. Just a simple, confident answer. And you know what? The silence that followed was everything. People didn't know how to respond, because I'd taken away their power to question my choices. Consider Serena Williams, one of the greatest tennis players of all time. when she decided to step back from tennis to focus on her family and business ventures. Critics were quick to question her decision. But Williams stood firm, offering no lengthy explanations. She simply expressed her desire to prioritize what mattered most to her, demonstrating that her choices were hers alone to make. This principle aligns perfectly with the teachings of Marcus Aurelius. In Meditations, he reminds us, be content to seem what you really are. When you stop explaining yourself, you're embracing authenticity and rejecting the need for external validation. So, the next time someone questions your choices, resist the urge to explain. Just say, because I wanted to. Then let the silence speak. You'll feel stronger, more in control, and more at peace with yourself. Elon Musk is another powerful example. His decision to acquire Twitter, despite widespread skepticism, drew countless questions and critiques. Musk's response? He continued executing his vision without extensively justifying his rationale. Whether or not one agrees with his choices, his confidence in his decisions showcases the strength of not over-explaining. Over the next week, notice how often you feel compelled to explain your decisions. Each time, pause and consider whether an explanation is truly necessary. Practice offering short, confident responses instead. You might find that most people's questions lose their power when met with quiet self-assurance. When you stop explaining yourself, you give yourself permission to live authentically. You stop wasting your energy on justifications and start pouring it into actually living the life you want. By doing so, you not only protect your peace but also inspire others to embrace their autonomy. Remember, your life isn't up for debate. Your decisions are enough, simply because you've made them. Segment 4, Keep your distance. Now, let's talk about a principle that might feel uncomfortable at first but is absolutely necessary: keeping your distance. Sometimes, the healthiest thing you can do is to step back from people who consistently disrespect you. This doesn't mean you hate them or that you're being dramatic. It means you respect yourself enough to protect your energy. The limited access club analogy: think of your life as a limited access club. Not everyone gets a VIP pass. If someone is constantly crossing your boundaries or making you feel small, why would you keep them close? This mindset isn't about exclusion, it's about curation, choosing to surround yourself with people who uplift you instead of draining you. Let me share a story. I once had a friend who loved to make snide comments about everything: my career, my relationships, even my taste in music. At first, I brushed it off, thinking it wasn't a big deal. But over time, those little jabs started to wear me down. So, I decided to try something different. I didn't make a big announcement or call them out. I just started limiting my time with them. Instead of seeing them every week, I'd see them maybe once a month. And you know what? I felt lighter. I felt freer. And in that space, I realized just how toxic that friendship had become. The less time I spent with them, the more I appreciated the positive, supportive people in my life. Example from Dwayne Johnson. Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson has openly spoken about the importance of maintaining a circle of supportive and respectful people. He emphasizes how, early in his career, he had to distance himself from individuals who doubted his dreams of transitioning from professional wrestling to acting. By surrounding himself with those who believed in his vision, he built one of the most successful brands in Hollywood. Why this matters: keeping your distance isn't about being mean or ignoring people. It's about choosing where and how you spend your time and energy. It's about protecting your peace and making room for people who actually respect and uplift you. Boundaries are not barriers, they're filters for your well-being. The next time someone disrespects you, ask yourself, do they really deserve this much access to me? Sometimes, the best way to show someone you've had enough is by simply stepping back. Start small. Reduce the frequency of your interactions and observe how it impacts your emotional state. Maya Angelou once said, "When someone shows you who they are, believe them the first time." She believed in the power of walking away from toxic relationships. By distancing herself from individuals who didn't respect her values or boundaries, Angelou preserved her energy for her art, activism, and personal growth. A leadership example, Satya Nadella, CEO of Microsoft, transformed the company's culture by fostering empathy and collaboration. Part of this transformation involved identifying and addressing toxic dynamics within the organization. By creating distance from negativity and focusing on building a positive work environment, he steered Microsoft toward renewed success. Over the next week, take inventory of your relationships. Who energizes you? Who drains you? Commit to reducing time with one person who consistently disrespects or undermines you. Use that newfound time to invest in relationships that bring positivity and growth. Example from Malala Yousafzai. Malala Yousafzai's journey highlights the necessity of keeping distance from those who seek to harm or undermine you. After surviving an assassination attempt, Malala focused her efforts on education advocacy rather than engaging with her detractors. Her ability to distance herself from negativity allowed her to channel her energy into creating global impact. Here's the deeper message: distance doesn't mean disconnection, it means discernment. When you step back from negativity, you're making room for joy, clarity, and respect. Protecting your peace isn't selfish, it's essential for living a fulfilling, balanced life. By curating the people around you, you're prioritizing your well-being and setting a standard for how you deserve to be treated. Segment 5, Hold Your Head High. Finally, let's talk about an old-school classic that never goes out of style, holding your head high. When someone disrespects you, they're banking on making you feel small. They want you to doubt yourself, to lower your eyes, to shrink into yourself. But when you stand tall and hold your head high, you're sending a clear message: I know exactly who I am. And nothing you say or do will make me feel less. The psychology of confidence. Confidence is disarming. It throws disrespectful people off balance because they rely on the idea that their words or actions have the power to influence you. When you refuse to let their disrespect touch you, you show them that they don't have that power. Confidence also reinforces your self-worth and helps you maintain control in challenging situations. Let me share a story. I once had a colleague who loved to throw little insults my way. At first, I tried to brush it off, but it started to get to me. Then, one day, I decided to try something different. I showed up to work with my shoulders back, my head held high, and a calm, confident demeanor. Every time they made a snide comment, I just looked them in the eye, smiled, and carried on like nothing had happened. And you know what? They started backing off. It's like they could sense that their comments weren't reaching me anymore. Rosa Parks' quiet but firm resistance during the Montgomery bus boycott is a timeless example of holding your head high. Faced with blatant disrespect and systemic injustice, she refused to shrink or let the disrespect define her. Her composed demeanor and unyielding confidence became a symbol of strength and inspired a movement. Why this works: holding your head high isn't just about physical posture. It's about mental posture. 2. It's about walking into every room like you belong there. Refusing to shrink yourself to fit into someone else's idea of who you should be. By standing tall, you project an aura of self-assurance that makes it clear you won't be easily shaken. Cristiano Ronaldo. one of the greatest footballers in history, has often faced criticism and negativity throughout his career. Yet, his confident demeanor on and off the field, with his signature celebrations and calm responses to detractors, showcases how holding your head high can turn criticism into motivation. His ability to stay composed under pressure cements his legacy as a legend. So, the next time someone disrespects you, try this: take a deep breath, pull your shoulders back, and hold your head high. Look them straight in the eye as if to say, "I see you, but I'm above this." You'll feel a rush of confidence, a sense of peace that comes from knowing that their words hold no power over you. Indra Nooyi, former CEO of PepsiCo, often spoke about the challenges of being a woman in a male-dominated industry. Despite facing skepticism and doubt, she carried herself with grace and confidence, proving her critics wrong through her leadership and results. Her ability to hold her head high inspired countless others to persevere. When you hold your head high, you're making a statement about your self-worth. You're declaring that no matter what others think or say, you see yourself as valuable, capable, and deserving of respect. This doesn't just shield you from negativity, it empowers you to rise above it. Nelson Mandela's composure during his 27 years of imprisonment is another profound example. Despite enduring unimaginable hardships, he emerged with his dignity intact, ready to lead South Africa toward reconciliation. His ability to maintain his self-respect under the most trying circumstances exemplifies the power of holding your head high. Over the next week, practice this in small ways. When someone makes a dismissive comment, resist the urge to shrink. Instead, stand tall, maintain eye contact, and respond calmly. Observe how this shift in your demeanor affects both you and those around you. Conclusion from Michelle Obama, in Becoming. Michelle Obama reflects on how holding her head high allowed her to navigate criticism and public scrutiny. By staying true to herself and exuding confidence, she showed the world the strength that comes from self-respect. The lesson is clear: confidence doesn't just change how others see you, it transforms how you see yourself. And that's a power no one can take away. Segment 6. Practice detachment from outcomes. Now, let's explore a principle that's central to Stoic philosophy but often overlooked in modern life: detachment from outcomes. When dealing with disrespectful people, it's easy to get caught up in how they treat us or how we wish they would treat us. But here's the truth: you can't control how others behave, only how you respond. Detachment doesn't mean you don't care. It means you focus on what's within your control and let go of the rest. When someone disrespects you, instead of obsessing over their behavior or trying to change them, focus on maintaining your inner peace. Let me share an example. I once worked with someone who had a habit of taking credit for my ideas. At first, I was furious. I wanted to confront them, to make them see how unfair they were being. But then I realized something: no matter what I said or did, I couldn't control their actions. What I could control was my response. So, I decided to detach from the outcome. I continued to do my best work, not for their approval, but because it aligned with my values. And over time, their behavior stopped bothering me. I wasn't giving them the power to dictate my emotions. Warren Buffett, one of the most successful investors of all time, practices detachment by focusing on the long term. He often emphasizes the importance of making decisions based on principles and not being swayed by the market's short-term fluctuations. This approach reflects his ability to focus on what he can control: research, analysis, and patience, while letting go of outcomes beyond his influence. Detachment frees you from the need for external validation. You stop letting other people's actions define your worth. Instead, you focus on what you can control: your effort, your attitude, and your integrity. This shift empowers you to maintain peace of mind even in challenging situations. Mahatma Gandhi's approach to nonviolent resistance was rooted in detachment. Despite facing immense opposition and disrespect, he focused on his principles and actions rather than obsessing over immediate outcomes. His ability to remain centered and unwavering in his mission inspired millions and ultimately led to India's independence. So, the next time someone disrespects you, try this: take a step back. Ask yourself, what's within my control? Focus on that. And let go of the rest. You'll find that your peace of mind becomes unshakable. Oprah Winfrey's journey is another testament to the power of detachment. During her early career, she faced rejection and criticism. Instead of dwelling on what she couldn't control, Oprah focused on honing her craft and staying true to her vision. Her resilience and commitment to her values propelled her to unparalleled success. Marcus Aurelius, in Meditations, wrote, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength." This wisdom underscores the essence of detachment, understanding where your power lies and refusing to be consumed by things beyond your influence. Nelson Mandela's ability to detach from resentment during his 27 years of imprisonment is a powerful example. Instead of letting anger consume him, he focused on his values of reconciliation and unity. His detachment from bitterness enabled him to lead South Africa toward healing and progress. Over the next week, whenever you encounter disrespect or frustration, pause and reflect: am I focusing on something outside my control? Redirect your energy toward what you can influence. And notice how it transforms your perspective. Detachment from outcomes doesn't mean giving up, it means letting go of the need to control everything. By focusing on your actions and values, you build a life rooted in inner strength and resilience. This approach not only shields you from negativity but also empowers you to navigate challenges with grace and confidence. Segment 7. Cultivate gratitude for the lesson. Finally, let's talk about a principle that might seem counterintuitive at first: gratitude. Yes, gratitude, even for the people who disrespect you. Now, I'm not saying you should thank them for their bad behavior. But here's the thing: every interaction, even a negative one, can teach us something valuable. When someone disrespects you, it's an opportunity to practice patience, resilience, and self-respect. It's a chance to strengthen your boundaries and deepen your understanding of yourself. In a strange way, these challenging interactions can be some of the most transformative experiences of your life. Let me share a story. I once had a boss who was notoriously difficult to work with. They were critical, dismissive, and often downright rude. At first, I dreaded every interaction with them. But over time, I started to see their behavior as a mirror reflecting my own insecurities. Instead of resenting them, I began to ask myself, what can I learn from this? And you know what? I discovered that their disrespect was pushing me to become more confident, more assertive, and more grounded in my own worth. Viktor Frankl, a Holocaust survivor and author of Man's Search for Meaning, found purpose even in the most harrowing experiences. While enduring unimaginable suffering, he chose to focus on the lessons he could learn: patience, inner strength, and the power of perspective. His gratitude for these lessons, even in dire circumstances, helped him survive and thrive. Gratitude isn't about excusing bad behavior. It's about finding the silver lining in every situation. When you approach disrespect with curiosity rather than anger, you transform it into an opportunity for growth. This mindset doesn't just make you more resilient, it also helps you maintain control over your emotional state. Michelle Obama has spoken openly about facing criticism and disrespect during her time as First Lady. Instead of letting negativity consume her, she used those experiences to cultivate empathy and strength. Her gratitude for the lessons she learned from adversity allowed her to rise above it and inspire others. The next time someone disrespects you, try this: take a moment to reflect. Ask yourself, what can I learn from this? Maybe it's an opportunity to practice patience or to reinforce your boundaries. Maybe it's a chance to reaffirm your self-worth. Whatever the lesson, acknowledge it and move forward with gratitude. Marcus Aurelius, in Meditations, reminds us to view obstacles as opportunities. He writes, "The impediment to action advances action. What stands in the way becomes the way." This Stoic insight underscores the transformative power of gratitude. Every challenge, including disrespect, can be a stepping stone toward growth if approached with the right mindset. Malala Yousafzai, after surviving an attack on her life, chose to focus on gratitude for her survival and the opportunity to advocate for girls' education. Instead of harboring hatred, she turned adversity into a platform for global impact, showing the world the strength that gratitude can bring. Over the next week, reflect on a moment of disrespect or difficulty. Ask yourself, what did this teach me about myself? Write down your insights, and consider how these lessons can help you grow. You'll find that even the hardest moments carry seeds of wisdom. Gratitude for difficult experiences doesn't mean accepting disrespect. It means recognizing the strength and resilience you gain from overcoming it. By shifting your perspective, you reclaim power over your narrative and turn challenges into stepping stones for personal growth. This mindset not only fosters resilience but also empowers you to face future difficulties with grace and confidence. Closing, the journey to self-respect. And there you have it, 7 Stoic principles to handle people who don't respect you. From the silent stare to cultivating gratitude. These tools are designed to help you reclaim your power, protect your peace, and live life on your terms. What do you think? Which principle resonates with you the most? Have you ever faced a situation where one of these tools could have helped? Share your thoughts in the comments. I'd love to hear your experiences and insights. If you found this video helpful, please give it a thumbs up. Share it with someone who might need a reminder to reclaim their power and protect their peace. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications so you'll never miss another episode packed with wisdom and actionable tips. Thank you for being here. Take care. Stay strong. And remember, respect starts with you.